Hello everyone and welcome back to the FPL Engine YouTube channel. Now in today's video I'm going to be talking you through how my Game Week 15 went and also my transfer plans ahead of FPL Game Week 16. So getting into my Game Week 15 team, as you can see it is a red arrow. However, it could have been a much worse red arrow. It's only a red arrow by about 1.52k, so I'm not really too fussed about it. I ended up with 55 points, obviously the absolute monster haul from Bruno Fernandes, a nice 8-pointer from Ndai, and a little 8-pointer off the bench from Senesi, which just shows even when Munoz isn't playing, he's still getting me points. However, with Munoz, I could maybe, well, to be fair, probably be selling him this week, so I will explain my thoughts behind that in a little bit. But yeah, looking at the overall team, it's been a pretty poor week. Obviously, Bruno absolutely saved it because I was on a red arrow of about, I think it was 70k or nearly 80k, and it would have been such a dreadful week. And Bruno Fernandes comes in and, well, we all saw what he did. Absolutely saved me. He's now the top scoring midfielder in FPL, which, you know, I just think, imagine he scored them 2 penalties instead of missing them. I think he would genuinely be closing his price in on 10 mil now, just because I think if he scored them 2 penalties, he would have started the season really well. Everybody would be buying him. Everyone would have had him. So in a way, it's sort of a good thing he missed them because no one had him. I got him for his higher pointers, making him more of a differential, you know, leading to my rank being better. But what I would say is I just think he's such a good player to own now coming into this festive period, just because we know he's going to get 90 every game. You know, he's on pens, he's on free kicks, he's on corners. That he's got open play threat now. So I think just everything about owning Bruno Fernandes is great at the moment. And I think that's why you see me and obviously a lot of other FPL YouTubers go on about how good Bruno Fernandes is in the game. And everybody who, you know, is a casual player or isn't that engaged, they would listen to it and go, why wouldn't you just buy Mbermo for 0.4 less? You're overhyping Bruno so much, but this is why he gets overhyped, because he had so many routes to points, and he will just tick along nicely and get you points over the season. With Mbermo going to AFCON, with Ahmad going to AFCON, we could see him playing in the 10 role. As a Man United fan, I'm really hoping Kobbie Mainoo comes on behind him and gets some minutes, but can I see it happening? Not really. But yeah, that is what I hope happens. I don't think it will, but that's what I hope happens. The defence this week, as I've already said, Senesi being subbed in for Munoz. I loved to see that when it happened. I thought that was going to be the best part of my week until Bruno saved me on the Monday night. Van Dijk, just really disappointing. He hit DEFCON really early. I was thinking, yes, he was on a clean sheet, 2-0 up. Then Konate comes in. It all goes wrong. Van Dijk gets the yellow card and he's back on a 2-pointer. However, I probably am going to be keeping him, which could sound absolutely mental. But as I've said, I just want players, and you've probably heard a lot of other people say this because it's the logical thing to do, that you know are going to get 90 minutes through this period of a lot of games, and I believe Van Dijk probably is that, especially with Konate. It's pretty clear. I mean, I know Van Dijk's not playing well, but it's pretty clear which one is a lot worse. And if one of them was going to get benched, it should probably be Konate. So I'm pretty confident on Van Dijk's minutes. David Raya getting 2-pointer, which I'm actually not annoyed about because obviously I don't own double Arsenal defence, which will definitely change this week. I can tell you that. I'm definitely owning it versus Wolves because that Man United game was the first time I've actually watched Wolves this season, and I genuinely didn't realise how bad they actually were because they were terrible. I mean, they were absolutely shocking. So if they're anything like that against Arsenal, Saka could have the armband. But yeah, Ndai with the 8-pointer, probably a farewell, few points for him. I was hoping Semenyo would get some, but unfortunately he didn't. Overall, not a great week. It is a red arrow, but as I said, it's not really a red arrow. I'd say it's more of a grey arrow just because I barely lost any rank. But yeah, in game week 14, I basically had a grey arrow as well because it was a green arrow by 1 point. So I've basically just not changed rank at all for the past 2 weeks. Well, for the midweek and this weekend. Obviously a massive green arrow the week before though, which was nice. So I'm sitting round about that 60k rank mark. I'm hoping to get inside the top 50k, start pushing on to the top 10k, you know, if it all goes well. Obviously there's going to be slip-ups in the weeks. Obviously things are going to go wrong. It doesn't ever all go well in FPL, and if you've played the game for a few years, I guarantee you've learned that yourself. But yeah, as I've said, my aim for the start of this season was to get top 25k, and I think this is a very high rank for this stage of the season. So if I carry on like this, I will absolutely smash that rank and I will get top 25k. But, a lot of things can change in FPL. A lot of things can change quickly. If I was sat here in 3 weeks' time at a rank of, I don't know, 500, 600k, I honestly wouldn't be surprised. I really hope that doesn't happen, to be honest. I hope I'm pushing more towards the 30k in a few weeks' time, maybe even 50, but you can never be surprised at things like that in FPL. You're never safe, is what I'd say, until the end of the season. So, but yeah, I'm very happy with the position I'm in at the moment. I definitely think 60k is a great rank to be in, and obviously the dreams to get top 10k, top 5k. So I doubt top 1k is going to happen now. We'd have to have some mental weeks for that to happen. But yeah, sitting at somewhere like 60k in week 16 is a very, very good place to be. I definitely was not there last season, I can tell you that. I remember, I think in week 16 I must have been around 700, 800k, so it was not a great start last year. Yeah, very, very happy with the start. Taking a look at my transfer plans and targets for week 16. Now, the one at the top, Antoine Semenyo to Phil Foden, as you can see, their prices are different than what they are now. Now Semenyo's 7.5, Foden is 8.6. He's risen again and again in the past 3 days. That is because I've already made the move. I decided, and Semenyo does have good fixtures coming up. He did actually look really good versus Chelsea, but the only way I could have got Foden is by selling Semenyo. Is there a possibility I bring Semenyo back for the Burnley game? Definitely. I definitely think there is. Is it a high chance? Absolutely not. No, I think now I've sold him, that is probably him done with my team for the moment. But yeah, Phil Foden is already in. I got him for 8.4 mil, which was hopefully, this is before I've seen the Champions League games, so touch wood, nothing happens, but this is so far looking like a successful transfer because he keeps going up in price. So yeah, I've got 4 transfers in the bank. That's the only one I've made. However, I am planning to make 2 more, as you can see on the screen here. I am planning to sell either Senesi to Hincapié or Daniel Munoz to Yorian Timber. Now, to be honest with you, I'm leaning to Munoz to Timber. This, I do need to see after the press conferences, because if Senesi's, ruled out for a while, then that will be obviously him to Hincapié probably. But why I like Munoz to Timber is because I think Palace are getting a bit shaky at the back recently. I think they're clearly tired. Munoz might get rotated with Klein a bit more now they've seen he can play. I think Munoz has got me so many points and I've had such a good time with him. It's time to now move him on to someone like Timber. I could just move on Van Dijk, but I don't really like the fixtures coming up for Palace anyway. Is there a chance I buy Munoz back in a few weeks? Yes, definitely. Definitely a higher chance than Semenyo. There's a chance he comes back in the next 2 weeks, but I definitely think the move I would like to do is him to Timber. We will be checking the Conference League on Thursday to see if he does play in that, because obviously if the injury's a bad one, then it does make my life a lot simpler. It will just be an easy Munoz to Timber. I sort of do hope Senesi's back because I do want to play him for that Burnley game in 16, and then that will probably be the end of him in my team. But for that game in 16, that is why I would rather keep Senesi over Munoz at the moment. And I just think Timber versus someone like Wolves, if Saliba's back, which is the dream, Timber will go to right back, and I can honestly see him getting far up the pitch, and even maybe getting an attacking return that game. So yes, he's good for Defcons at centre-back, but against a team like Wolves, I would want him to play right-back just because of how bad they actually are. And yet, the final transfer, and this one definitely is happening, unless I did Minte, but I think I would much rather do Ndiaye. It will be Ndiaye to either Wilson or Anderson. Sorry for Anderson and Wilson's price being wrong. I don't know how I've managed to do that. Wilson is 5.3 mil and Anderson is 5.4. Now, I think I'm going to take the punt on Harry Wilson, just because I think he's such a good footballer. When you watch him play in that Fulham side, he does just look really, really good. His XG numbers might be quite low, his XA numbers might be quite low, but he can just score from anywhere. He's just such a good player. And that's why I think I might lean towards going to him. However, this could definitely change on the day, because he's a rotation risk, he's a minutes risk. I could end up just getting scared of all of that and just going basic and going for Elliot Anderson just because he's going to play. However, Wilson's definitely the more fun pick. he's definitely the better pick to go. Well, the better pick to watch at least. So yeah, I really do think I may take a punt on Wilson and then switch to Dewsbury Hall after the Arsenal and Chelsea game. That was my original plan, but it could also just be Elliot Anderson and hold or switch to Dewsbury Hall. I don't know. I think I'd rather just take a punt on Wilson for literal, because it's only going to be 2 weeks anyway. He is a short-term pick. That's one thing I will say if you are looking at him or a Raul Jimenez. It's definitely a short-term pick. I would not pick either of them for the long term. And finally, now taking a look at the lineup for Game Week 16. As I've said, the only player that I've made so far, the only transfer that I've made is Phil Foden. But yeah, take a look at the back line. We are going to be going with double Arsenal defence, no matter if it's Senesi going out or Munoz. As I said, I would rather Timber. So this is how it's looking so far. Raya and Timber, double Arsenal defence versus Wolves. If they're ever going to get a clean sheet, I'd say it's definitely at home versus Wolves. That is by far the best fixture you could have right now. I think Wolves could be one of the worst teams I think I've ever seen, and they, to be honest, when they go down to the Championship, I don't even think they'll have much luck there. So yeah, definitely a fixture to target. Anderson versus Burnley, really don't mind that. I think there's definitely good DEFCON potential away at Burnley and definitely very good clean sheet potential. Virgil van Dijk versus Brighton at home, I really don't mind it. It's a hard one with Van Dijk because I feel like he's got a goal in him. He's got a goal coming soon. I mean, you can see that with the amount of headers he's getting, and he's got good DEFCON potential. I think the clean sheet is, just the issue here, really. He's got Wolves at home and Leeds at home coming up soon, so I think I'm going to hold him to them, and if he's still not performing, then obviously it will be time to go, probably back to a Daniel Munoz, but I just think, as I've said so many times, over this festive period, I want someone I know who's going to play it, and Van Dijk does, guarantee me that. Bruno Fernandes in the midfield, obviously going nowhere. As I've said many times, the guy's never injured. He's an absolute machine. I can see myself holding him literally the whole season. Apart from, obviously when double game weeks and blanks come in and things like that. Knowing Man United, they probably won't get far in any tournaments at all. Well, the one they're in, the FA Cup, they probably won't get far at all anyway. So I can genuinely see myself holding him literally the whole season because he's just such a good player to own. Minte versus Liverpool away. Usually, I would have sold and probably kept Ndai, but Liverpool away at the moment genuinely just looks like a very decent fixture. So hopefully at least one of him or Van Dijk can get some points. As I've said, Phil Foden has been confirmed he is in the team. I'm very happy with him. I just think he's been absolutely amazing at the moment. And I mean, I'm lucky I owned him on free hit in 13 for that 15-pointer. But yeah, he has absolutely killed my rank this week. Luckily, Bruno Fernandes came through, but yeah, just a great player to own at the moment. And I think if you don't own him, you're going to have to buy him, because if he keeps scoring points like he is now, your rank is going to get absolutely demolished. So, if you want to go against him, if you want to play risky, be my guest. But if it goes wrong, it's going to go very wrong. Bukayo Saka could definitely have the armband versus Wolves just based on how bad they are. Do I really want to go against Haaland at this point in the season? Not really. Off the back of a red arrow, I think it's making me, sort of want to play it more safe. But then again, going someone like Saka and him hauling could get me a massive green one. So I think, yeah, again, that's one I'll definitely decide closer to the deadline. As I said before, Harry Wilson, I am looking to take a punt on him for 2 or 3 weeks over Elliot Anderson. But yeah, I could get scared of that move and play it more safe nearer to the deadline. Igor Thiago and Erling Haaland up top. I'm very glad I made the Igor Thiago transfer early now, because obviously Mateta did nothing and it saved me a transfer this week. So yeah, overall the team looks really good for this week. The bench looks a bit shaky, so we're going to have to hope, everyone plays and hope everyone scores points, because I mean, we can hope Senesi's back, but hopefully Bruno batters him anyway, so that don't really matter. Mukiele is a bit dodgy at the moment, and to be fair, Mark Yu could be a decent option now, but I don't think I'd ever actually want him coming near the team. Anyways, that is it for the video for now. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.